there's two mediums that we use with Chalk Couture on our surfaces. And we can actually use paste, which usually has a black lid, as a white lid. During the pandemic, things changed a little bit when there were limited supplies, and we couldn't get the right color lids, and we put stickers on things and whatever. You know how that goes, how much fun that's been. But anyway, so I would use paste for something that's temporary and ink for something that's permanent. Well, today I'm going to use paste to deliberately make something not permanent. And I have a reason behind this. I have a few coffee mugs that I want to decorate for Valentine's, but I do not want to permanently alter them. So if I wanted to permanently alter them, I could use our ink and then heat set in an oven, or I can use etching cream, which I think I've done that in the past. You might have seen it. But I want something temporarily today or for Tuesday that will kind of be appropriate for the holiday, be appropriate for Valentine's Day, but that I can wash off and not keep it permanently on my little mugs. So I am going to use paste on the outside of these glasses. I am not going to heat set. I'm going to put it where it is not around anywhere where someone's mouth would come in contact with it. And I'm just going to put a design or an image on the outside of the glass, if that makes any sense. Knowing full well that I could wash this off when I'm done using them. So whereas I would always use something permanent for something like this, I am going to use the chalk paste to deliberately make it temporary. That makes any sense? So I would use paste for something that's temporary and ink for something that's permanent. Well, today I'm going to use paste to deliberately make something not permanent. And I have a reason behind this. I have a few coffee mugs that I want to decorate for Valentine's, but I do not want to permanently alter them. So if I wanted to permanently alter them, I could use our ink and then heat set in an oven, or I can use etching cream, which I think I've done that in the past. You might have seen it. But I want something temporarily today or for Tuesday that will kind of be appropriate for the holiday, be appropriate for Valentine's Day, but that I can wash off and not keep it permanently on my little mugs. So I am going to use paste on the outside of these glasses. I am not going to heat set. I'm going to put it where it is not around anywhere where someone's mouth would come in contact with it. And I'm just going to put a design or an image on the outside of the glass, if that makes any sense. Knowing full well that I could wash this off when I'm done using them. So whereas I would always use something permanent for something like this, I am going to use the chalk paste to deliberately make it temporary. That makes any sense? There is a bit of a caveat to that, which I will get into a bit later. This is the image that I'm going to apply to one of the mugs. It's the lips with a little heart above it. And because I'm going to be applying this to glass, which is very smooth and non-porous, I'm going to fuzz this transfer more than I would normally if I was applying to chalkboard or to wood or whatever. Anytime you're applying to a very smooth, non-porous surface, such as glass or mirror or metal or our magnetic Aden boards, I would always fuzz extra to lessen the adhesiveness so that when I go to lift it up off the surface that I'm applying it to, it does not stick too snugly. So remember our 3 steps: position the transfer, then we paste, and then we peel. Had a little smudge on that cup, so I'm going to grab another one, a different mug, and apply it here. So I'm positioning it. I'll smooth it down. Try and make sure there are no air bubbles underneath the silk screen. And then I'm going to take my paste. I'm using the Marvelous here. And a little squeegee. It's like a little silicone tool that we use to apply the paste. Just basically scoop some paste up on the squeegee and apply it to the transfer, just basically smoothing across the transfer, and that'll push the paste through the silk screen onto the surface beneath it. And a little bit of paste goes a long way. Same with the ink. You don't really have to use much at all. Just basically slide across the silk screen, making sure you get good coverage. And then once it's totally covered, go across again, smooth it out, pick up any excess paste, return the excess paste back into the jar. Make sure there aren't any lines or anything on the silk screen. If so, smooth them out. I have what might be a little bit of an air bubble there. We'll see once I lift it up. And now it's step 3, peel and reveal. Having a little bit of a tough time gaining purchase on this transfer. Can't get my nail underneath it. It's kind of stuck pretty snugly. The longer you leave it on something smooth, the stronger it will adhere. So you basically want to do your ink or your pasting and then get it up and off the glass as quick as possible. There we go. Looks pretty good. I do have a little bit of smudge on the lips. Probably from an air bubble, and I'm going to go back and clean that up once it dries. See, it's just on the right side of the lips. And I could clean that up once it dries with the little detail tool. I'll just scrape off a little smudge there and it'll be fine. I think it turned out kind of nice. I like that Marvelous paste color. It is very nice. Now, because I've used paste, all I need to use is a little water and a board eraser to remove this image off of the glass. And then I could reuse it and put something maybe on for another holiday. Really depends what I want to do. So the caveat behind using what's temporary and what's permanent is your paste is temporary on many surfaces. Your paste is temporary on chalkboard, dry erase board. You could spritz it with water and then remove it, obviously on glass and on metal. But on wood, a lot of times your paste, the pigmentation of the paste will absorb into the wood and then you can't totally erase it. So there is a little bit of a caveat about the temporary paste. Anything that's more porous is going to absorb the pigment and will not be easily removed. And here I'm showing where I just need to come back with that little detail tool and take care of that little smudge. Now, isn't this an easy way to temporarily decorate something for the holiday? Knowing that you can deliberately remove it using water and a board eraser? Maybe if this was for Christmas or something I'd use more often or for more a number of days, I would consider the ink and make it permanent. But for just a one-day use or whatever, I thought temporary is probably the way to go. At least for now. I could always change my mind and do it over with ink and then heat set it. I am actually going to do the second part of this with my transfer, my hard to get transfer, as soon as I find it. Obviously it got moved, and I will come back and do the other mug with the other transfers. The paste will take about 5 minutes or so to dry, and once it's dry I could actually rub my fingers across it and it will not remove any of the chalk. So it'll soon be ready to use. How simple and easy was that? Quick little project, decorating your glassware for the holidays. Here's part 2. Hi, right, I am back. Of course, found the transfer. And somebody probably walked past the table and created a little breeze and probably dropped it on the floor, knocked it on the floor, whatever. So I'm going to just continue with this and add another design to my other cup. I'm deliberately using paste instead of ink because I want this to be temporary. And I'm going to place it on my cup in an area that someone's lips would not come in contact with it. So I'm going to take my transfer, and because I'm working on glass, I want, and glass is obviously very smooth and non-porous, I want to fuzz it quite a bit so that it does not stick too snugly. Anytime you're working with a surface that is ultra smooth, glass, mirror, metal, even our porcelain chalkboards, our magnetic chalkboards, our Aiden boards, I fuzz an extra amount so that it does not stick so snugly. Because if it sticks real snugly, you might have a difficult time lifting the transfer up, and I don't want to run down that road. So, and all I've done with these glasses is prep them by running them through the dishwasher. They're brand new glasses. If I was actually doing this with ink to be permanent, I would wipe these down with a paper towel with alcohol. Make sure no fingerprints, whatever. Ink them and then heat set them in an oven. Ooh, this is pretty bright pink, isn't it? Wonder if I want to do something a little bit different than that. Got a little coral or a little bit of slate rose. Maybe my slate rose. Let's see. Or maybe I could just, I'm going to go with slate rose, right? Why not, right? Obviously, I could do this in whatever color I would want. So I'm just going to apply the paste in the same way that I would if I was doing something that wasn't glass. I'm going to be careful not to go off the edge of my transfer here and just smooth it across. Don't have to apply a lot of pressure, just gently glide across with the squeegee. And then once I have it totally covered, I'm going to remove the excess paste. And I did I did go off the edge and slop it up a little bit there. Put the excess paste back in my jar. Remove any lines or whatever. I'll show you how I'm going to fix this where I went off the edge. And then peel it up. So it's position your transfer, apply your paste or ink if you were inking, and then peel. So the peel is peel and reveal. Check out how it turned out. A little bit difficult because it's glass here. It's sticking so strongly even though I fuzzed it extra. There we go. Look at that beautiful definition. Now I do have a smudge down here where I went off the transfer, so I am going to take a piece of paper towel and just wipe that off while it's still wet. If I waited for it to dry, then I would have to use a board eraser or my detail tool or just wet the paper towel and remove it. But I think it's not quite dry here, and I can remove it with my fingers and the paper towel. I don't think I have to spritz it with water yet. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. It dried really quick, didn't it? Partially because someone in the middle of the night cranked the thermostat up to 79. So when I overslept this morning, as part of the reason I overslept, I was like in a drug-induced sleep. It was 78 degrees in the kitchen, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second. I have to go check that thermostat because it shouldn't be this hot. I shouldn't be feeling like this. So like I said, I used paste. I put my images in an area where someone's lips are not going to come in contact with it. Paste so that it can be removable from the glass. If I wanted it to be permanent, I would use ink and then heat set. And let me give you a little bit better of a view here of what these actually look like. I could do both sides. Pretty much you could do anything you want with them. When you want to erase the image, just use a little wet it and use a little board eraser to get the image off. It's really that simple. Let me kind of line these up a little bit on a little bit more of a background so you could actually see the images a little bit better. So remember, if you want to do something temporary, you can do it. It doesn't have to be permanent. Just don't put the chalk paste anywhere where someone's mouth would come in contact with it. If you want to go permanent, use the ink and then heat set once the ink is dry. This is basically the transfer that I was intending to use today. I found it had actually floated off the table and was sitting on the floor next to me. And it's cute. It's Heart to Get is the name of it. And it's basically a bunch of different little hearts, images, and words. And I think it's a nice little temporary piece of decor for Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon.